Howdys and salutations, y'all. Hope you're having a good one today. Ooh, is my audio decent? I hope my audio is loud enough. Obviously I don't want to catch every little lip smack and annoying thing, but I also don't want to be completely drowned out by my own music. Y'all know how it is. Anyway, yep, we're back to music by Harris Heller. I don't know if anyone caught it. We had a fun little Wednesday, spontaneous stream yesterday. No chatting, just quiet and letting things happen, just doodling. So what I did on that, if anyone didn't catch it, because again, I didn't announce it, I didn't plan it, I just had the itch to draw, which I haven't actually had in ages. It's great to actually have that again. This has been fun. But we took care of the cloak and getting some better outlines. Part of the reason was just I felt like doing it, but the other reason I wanted to do it then and not on a mainstream is most of the cloak pieces here, a lot of the form from that is going to come when we're dealing with shading. Lines, at least in what we're trying to do here, using lines for the fabric super heavily probably isn't going to be great. For the fur, we may need some for outline, but it's going to be a very different, textury pen type deal. We're not going to be doing intense line work. So I just tried to get the rough forms, where the bulk of it was. So we'd have it for a reference, and B, that'll make it easier when we're actually doing the shading. I also noticed, what I hadn't picked up on this reference initially, is there's actually a gap in the cloak here. There's a little metal clasp of sorts, and more of the brown fabric from here that comes under. So we'll be able to capture some of that. I did do some of the mechanism work. The angle of this is clearly wrong. Something's not lined up on it right. And I think it's... Oh, okay, it might be which side is visible underneath. In any case, it's not that big of a deal, because most of that is basically background ornamentation compared to obviously the pauldron has a lot more going on, and when we get to the helmet today, there's an awful lot going on with this design. So we'll be leaning into that more this go round. Yeah, so that's basically all you missed, other than no more spam messages that time. That was good. I guess I oughta... Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's been fun. It has been actual years since I've tried to do a proper illustration. I do so many exercises and doodles and trying to figure out how to cartoon stuff and testing different media, and I haven't done I think it was literally 2018 the last time I tried to do anything like this. So hopefully my skills have improved a little since then. Hopefully we get some cool stuff. But yeah, this should be fun. But yeah, I need to adjust the chat settings. I was going to make it so that you don't need the whatchamadoohickey that Musico was warning me about. Not review unbanned requests. I don't have any of those. Man, chat settings are so complicated. I'll figure it out at some point. I was going to make it so you don't need verification. Okay, let's see. That's just chat appearance. Yeah, we won't mess with that. So yeah, we're jumping onto the helmet next. This is going to be a doozy. And we've known it was going to be a doozy. But it's still going to be a doozy. Let's see, first off, is my pen mapped right? No, it's not. This is why I gotta shift our working area here. Every single time, I almost forget that. Let's see, cool. We're on the mechanical pencil, and I need to throw some new layers on here for this. That's right. Okay. Oh, that works. We can make a new folder for it too, why not? Because this is definitely going to have a few components. A lot of different layers in this helm. Let's start with... Oh, what do we want to start with? Yeah, no, I mean, I folder and layer the heck out of everything. Gotta know where all my stuff ended up. I have made the mistake of not doing it in the past, and then everything ends up on the wrong layer. It's awful. I'm gonna call them fins, and I'm gonna do them first. Just because they're annoying me, and Because it's the actual rough here, they're too wide. Like, just a little bit. And so I want to make sure we're getting the curvature right, and we're getting the everything decent for alignment and all that jazz. Because they land in the right place. It needs to land, I guess, like a little more below the mouth. It's, again, at this point, proportions are basically set. We did that with our initial rough, so I'm trying not to mess with that too much. All that we're doing... Oh. Dangnammit, why does it always... How do I always accidentally grab the background color instead of the... Let's see, it was what, 6868? I think that was what it was. All the way across. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. There's our good gray. For this next layer. And we've got decent pen size for what we're doing. I have to warm back up a little bit. But how are you doing, Great Dame? Happy to have you drop by. Been a while. Let's see. Yeah. I will say you didn't miss much on D&D last time. Like, half the group couldn't make it. So we ended up just chatting. You probably picked a good one to miss. But good, you've been doing things. Things are what's worth doing. Better than not doing things. Oh, yeah. I see you've gotten hooked on it. Yeah, there is a... Careful, that's one of the most addicting games out there. I've done some Stardew streams. They're good fun. More curve. Oh, jeepers. Yeah, don't even... Be careful jumping into modded Stardew. The base game has an already absurd amount of stuff in it. Let's see. Yeah, but it's fun. No, I haven't, because, like, there's more than one modded version of Stardew, so I don't even know which one you're talking about, but that sounds good. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Now, why have I gone and done this to my lovely line? Let's not do that. Scoot the whole thing over if we're going to be that persnickety about it. Yeah, I think I've seen some people playing. I know there's at least one giant mod pack. I don't know so much about that one. I just know that they're out there. Hold on, let's... that looks too... I can clean that up, but... Maybe it's too far forward on this, and that's why we're getting this sort of weird proportion. Okay. Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, Stardew is a wonderfully addicting game. Admittedly, my first experience with it was not good, but I did eventually come back to it, and have had a much better time since then. If you treat it like a job where you have to nail everything by year 3, it stops being a fun game very quickly. Especially if it's your first time playing and you don't know what you even need to be doing. Pro tip, don't do that. Oh, I see where this has too much width. Okay, okay. Oh, I can imagine, yeah. Like, I don't care what anyone says. He may not be romanceable, but Linus is the best character. First person I ever got to max hearts. No kidding. But yeah, no, that's a fun one. And I'm sure with Musico, like the competition on that's got to be just an absolute adventure. He's devious. Devious when it comes to fun, silly nonsense, anyway. Just... well, that works too. All I'm saying is his is the only D&D character I know who attempted to romance the Grim Reaper, and then subsequently helped kill said Grim Reaper after it fell through. Yeah, like... I need to get the other pieces in here, and then I can tweak this more, but it's at least in a better spot. Yeah. There we go. I thought we were missing a little bit. Oh, that's another thing we can do is the edge. Keep on chipping away at this. Hey, that's fair. Yeah, they're both fun characters. Penny's sweet. I more feel like I almost romance Penny just to try to get her out of a bad situation. Like I feel bad for her. Maybe we lean into this as a convex a little more. Even if it's not quite true to the original, I think it might look cooler. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, that makes more sense. Yes, I was trying to figure out how Pam played into the picture. I also love that like somehow that game has like good and evil roots, and yet I feel like more people get angry at you picking the evil route in that game than they do in stinking Undertale. And I think it's because in Undertale, at least there's gameplay reasons to try it. Like, people like the boss fights. But in this, it's a worse game experience, and it's also evil. Like, there's no reason. The first time I played Stardew as well, I literally never found the Joja Mart. I didn't know there was one in town. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Genocide, sure, whatever. But Joja Mart? No, can't do that. Yeah, it's not obvious, but I made it to fall. I should have run into it in some point. Like, it's not that out of the way. Granted, I made it to fall mostly spending every single day in the mines, dying and losing all my stuff. So, like, I don't know. My first playthrough was so bad. Let's see. My second playthrough has gotten further and been much better. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, like there's that. That's the secret. Co-op is also a very different experience. Like partly because people know what the heck they're doing, and partly like splitting the work does make stuff go much faster and easier. Like rather than having to balance, am I going to do mining or fishing or scavenging or like figure out my farming logistics or whatever, you can just kind of like like shift the responsibilities around. And it's not nearly so bad. And you can buy like 150,000 strawberries. Yeah, they do. Although, at some point you end up with so many tasks to do that you run out of energy by like 10 a.m. and you're just like, why is the day so long? But yeah, most of the time they definitely feel really short. To be fair, I do that in real life too. Like, yeah, definitely have those days. Getting too persnickety with my lines again. Dagnabbit. Leave it alone. You'll fix it in ink. Exactly, yeah. Like, literally part of the reason I hit it off with Linus is because he is en route to the mines. Also because I thought he was cool and I actually stopped by with him, but there was a convenience factor, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, hey, I can just drop in on my daily commute. That is probably the wrong reason to hit it off with a character. Let's see. I'm gonna... I don't know what all's gonna fall into this layer exactly, because it gets a little complicated. I guess just the bottom part, we'll keep like the gold crest in a different layer. The knotwork is definitely different in the wing, of course. That's fine. Once again, I'm doing all the simple stuff because there's a part of me that doesn't want to do all the little loopy loops for this visor. Let's see. Okay, no, hold on. That's definitely slanted like that. And I guess I don't need to get all the way up to that part. Yeah. I'm enjoying... This isn't one of them, but I made a couple custom like pens just for sketching and stuff that have been really fun. I finally picked up a tablet that's got like tilt sensitivity, and so I can actually like do like a proper pencil color in by tilting it, and then like finer point for the top. It's been fun. I didn't realize how much I was missing out on that, but it makes sketching way more like actual pencil sketching. I'm sure there's professional pens out there that do an infinitely better job of it than I do. Because the other thing I accidentally made was this, whatever this is. I guess it's good for... I don't know what it's good for. It was not what I was trying to make with it, but, you know, it's a thing. Oh, I shouldn't have overcrossed the vector line so much. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. Just get the hard eraser, make it really big, make it all go away. Whoops. Yeah, it could definitely get super boring really quick if you're not careful. Um, but I have found that not putting a time restraint on it and just it does have enough goals to work towards. They're just not always obvious, especially early on. The other thing, I don't know if I'm sure they've, you know, talked about the town center or whatever. I also never found that in my first playthrough. Like I walked past it, but I didn't. Like I walked past it once, saw the door was locked, never went back again. um, and so I had no objectives, and that made it real dull. Okay. So yeah, it's got stuff for single player, but it's definitely a different experience, like a very different experience from multiplayer. Thanks. Yeah, it's been a fun pen. What am I doing with those? That's not how it actually looks. Yeah, turns out that's kind of a fundamental core piece of the experience, the community center. Whoops. So yeah. Yeah, no, all in all, it's a charming game, but it's definitely I found it to be more fun with friends. Okay. Asked me you got lazy, didn't you? You didn't put where these need to go. Okay, fine. Yeah, we can do this on the... Just a junk layer for this, yeah. Clearly, it ends up dipping pretty close to the bottom by the end. Yep. Okay, let's see. Kinda emanate towards a central point. Not that sharp of a sleep of a... Hey, you made it in! Look who finally decided to show up. Yeah, I figured. I assume you listened in on everything we said. So yes. The thing that cracks me up about that is I have a view that is supposed to show me all the users in chat, and it doesn't. It just straight up doesn't. So either I'm using it wrong, which is most likely the answer. But I checked at 8 when I saw the Great Dame was here, and I was like, I wonder if someone else is going to show up. And then I checked again at 8:15. Didn't see you then either. I still don't, in fact. So, don't know what to do with that knowledge. Trying to avoid any competition? Yeah, probably. Only because they knew that you were going for them. How do we want to shape these? Let's see. Fortunately, because it's kind of a worn helmet, it don't have to really be that consistent. Yeah. Yeah, Emily was never one I went for either, but I can totally see someone purely attempting to, I don't know, it's not a kill steal, love steal? I'm getting conflicting information in chat now. These need to be taller. Yeah, that... Somehow that doesn't shock me. Vector weirdness. Okay. That's right. You can just break into anyone's house. I forgot that that's how they had that set up. It's a quirky little game. All I know is whoever's house is closest to the mines is going to get the most traffic. and and you had the opportunity and you actively chose to be a bad neighbor. Got it. Oh. Who doesn't? Nobody likes him. I don't know if y'all saw RT Game, but on his stream they dubbed him an incel and like spent the entire rest of the playthrough actively tormenting and making his life miserable. He's not. He is problematic. I don't think he's quite the level that you see on the internet forums, but he's not great. He is. Also, he like honestly, the only reason I don't like him is he charges a ton for those geodes. Okay, no, the bottoms are relatively level. I'm gonna have to sort that. Make these a little smaller. Yeah, I mean you have the power to torment, my friends. Oh, gotcha. I'm sure he'd just love to know that he directly helped you, like, steal his crush. Although, I mean, I'd say she's the one who made the final choice, but it is literally a game. I'm not entirely sure that's true. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's not. He's not the most likable character in the game. I don't like the idea of stepping stone toes. Come on. Work with me here, curves. I knew this part was going to be awful to draw. A bunch of almost but not quite the same shape, size, and angle curves. I hate this. I don't hate it. It's an interesting challenge. Yeah, I was thinking the geode prices are so ridiculous for the really terrible yield most of the time. Like I have a stockpile of geodes just because I'm like, I'm feel like I'm gonna get more worth out of these just as geodes sitting around my house than if I turn them in and get like a coal. Yeah, see, that's fair. And it is useful for the coal, but like not for anything else. Alright, hold on. Let's start some on this side because they've got like a slight tilt to them. Let's see. Yeah, I'm so stinking slow on the bundles. Which one even is the bus bundle again? I still haven't gotten it. Like, I know the bus is important, but like I've got enough to do. I don't need it, and so I haven't bothered. I'll have you know that there's one rat and or cat, I can't tell from the sprite, that contributes excellently to society down in the bottom left of the map. Assuming you're like a TF2 player and love hats. Oh, is that the one you get from the pure money? Yeah, no, I've got better stuff to spend my funds on year one, you know? Like the stinking... Anything I can do to get the minecart bundle going, that one is my priority. I love vector lines. You can just cheat. Yeah, minecart bundle, it is a lifesaver. Literally in some cases. Although if you don't KO a lot, there's not a lot of reason to talk to the doctor, which is kind of unfortunate. I got to know him a lot better in my first playthrough, where I was terrible at the game, than my second one. We'll see how these look with the knot work. I may have to rework them. Yeah? Do I have a stream goal? Where do I have a stream goal? I'll admit, one of my to-do items for February has been updating all the stream stuff and getting like an end card proper and such. Because I did a whole bunch of this right at the start and then just forgot it. Stream goals. What even was my stream goal? Okay, so I've surpassed that one a little bit, I guess. I'll have to fix that. just a hair past that one. Maybe we shoot for 20. Yeah, you know what, Musico, you're right. Achievable goals. What do they talk about? Smart goals? They're specific. We've got a number. That part's good. And they're measurable. Also good. And then they're... What is it? It's like reasonable and achievable or something? Or vice versa? Yeah, then you get to tick the checkbox immediately. Oh, as much as work smarter, not harder isn't the worst, although I do like smarter, not harmter. But it's not a bad motto, but I had a teacher in middle school who used it so much and who I didn't like, and it kind of tainted the expression for me. Like, it's not even bad life advice. I just, like, I cringe when I hear it. which is a tad silly, truthfully. You know, phrasing it like that probably isn't going to go so hot on the performance review. I've gotten lucky and kind of both lucky and I'm just a nerd, but I actually kind of like my job, and so I like end up volunteering to do more. Not volunteering; they're still paying me. Um, but like I've gotten very fortunate. Work with me here, curvature. These are going to be awful, but they're just at least a start. I can refine them. I mean, this is the refining stage. I may have to come back to it later today or another time next week, but needed to at least get them laid out first. I should have done that on the initial pass. Attempting to optimize. Were they, Ah. Yeah, that's an interesting approach. Just do it faster the old way rather than find a new, easier way. Granted, you probably don't want to like dirty the deep frying stuff in the sink. Especially because depending on what's in that wash, if it's water and then you chuck that back in the fryer, it's not the greatest mix in the world. Well, they follow the curvature, right? We'll do another one where we clean these up a little bit, but I'm going to take a pause so I don't just go brain dead in the process. I think what I want to do next... Oh, okay, fair enough. Look, I would never doubt the genius at work in your Chipital optimization. But even geniuses don't always account for every possible detail. I should have done the wing first, but I don't want to do the wing right now. I'm gonna be honest. I'm on the wrong layer. That's literally why I... that's the secret. It's not to avoid distractions that I like dim the transparency of all the other layers. It's because I notice faster that I'm drawing on the wrong one if it's fate. Like... It's a dumb technique, but it has saved me like 9 times in the last 2 weeks. So, like, I've got to do it. Yeah, probably. Although I wouldn't recommend eating it afterwards. Malenia is, even by Elden Ring standards, not the most sanitary boss. The FDA would have some questions. That's all I'm saying. Do you mean putting in the helmet or shredding Remy? Because I have objections to either plan. Vertically, that's roughly above the nose. Okay, so that is about the right. Yeah, we'll have to wait for someone to rip the model and then like disable the helmet in order to be able to see if there's a little tiny rat under there controlling Malenia. Not even that implausible. They've got like puppeteered bosses and stuff. I mean, heck, you can turn some NPCs into puppets if you have no ethics. Granted, you don't get to be a little rat inside their head, but in a way, you're a metaphorical rat inside their head. Okay, no, hold on. I like got the straight patch. That arcs out a little bit, and it's basically a smooth curve. Why this particular one's giving me so much trouble. There we go. That is true. Dude got fired. Okay. I don't know. I feel like their economy's kind of a mess. They've got too much gold already, just like everywhere. Its value's got to be decreasing. That's true. I remember back when Minecraft economies used to be based on gold nuggets. Those were weird times. It wasn't that scarce of a resource, and so prices were always horribly inflated. Or it'd be like restricted on how you get it in order to create artificial scarcity. Like there'd be mods and stuff in order to make sure it was... Old Minecraft currencies were funny. You know, that's true. That's true. I don't think a single Elden Ring boss wears netherite. Honestly, we need to get the lore masters to check on why that is. Vati, calling us out now. Why don't any Elden Ring bosses wear netherite? We need answers. The people demand answers. Possibly. They've got a lot of gold though. We can that line out. Oh, that's true. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Glad to see we've got an economist in chat who can explain this stuff to us. You know, I don't think writing out less than 3 in words quite captures the same quite captures the same mood as the original expression. Well, that's greater than 3. Or alternatively, like, what, less than E if you want a kind of messed up version that faces the other way? Did y'all ever learn mnemonics for remembering which was less than and which was greater than? Because I know a lot of people learned that one about, like, the alligator wants to eat the big number. And I never learned that one, so I'm curious how many people actually, like, grew up with that. Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely like middle school or earlier math. Probably a little rusty on that. That is true. Yeah, like they have to follow certain processes. Really funky. I realize that they're trying to teach people the why of it, and that's good. Knowing the why makes math more interesting, but so many times, like, the way they're teaching the why doesn't actually clarify why. It's just another thing to learn. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to fix that. Dag nab, they really went with actual, like, authentic interlocking looking feathers. Now division's in here? uh, I was. Oh, I was. I mean, I can do middle school stuff, obviously, but algebra is what finally killed my joy of math. Like, I actually liked math, and I still do like a lot of math. I enjoy geometry, full stop. But, like, in terms of, like, in a classroom setting, algebra is what killed it. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just how it's taught. It never clicked. None of it ever made any sense to me. And I don't, like, I mean, I could memorize the formulas and do it. Not well, but, like, I could do it. But why we were doing it never made any sense. See, I loved calculus. I had a great time with calculus until I solved the problem enough that it became algebra again, and then I was very sad. Pre-cal was hot garbage, but, like, calculus I enjoyed. And I don't know why. Like, calculus, like, what the equations were doing made sense to me in calculus. Algebra still doesn't. Alright, we're gonna have to do a facsimile on this. I'm not gonna try to match it 1-to-1, but yeah. I think repetition is key in math, but I feel like a lot of classes substitute, like, quantity of questions for quality. Yeah, possibly. I was always, like, a super visual learner as a kid, and so I think that may be why stuff like geometry clicked for me a lot better than algebra did. Yeah, yeah. See, that may be it. Because everyone I knew either liked geometry or algebra, and it kind of fell along those, like, visual versus, like, number lines. Not a number line, but you know what I mean. um, so yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Because I don't think it's the fault of the teachers or just doing, like, a horrible job. Like, don't get me wrong, plenty of times it is, but, like, at some point, fundamentally, I think there's just different people have such different ways that they understand how math works that, like, we maybe need to be trying to adapt to that more. I don't know if there's an easy way to do that. And teachers are already overworked like crazy, and that's not getting better. There's like yeah, like, don't get me wrong, there are people who can do both, and even if you've got, like, an aptitude for one, you can still learn the other one. It just, like, it's fascinating how different, like, it ends up being. And maybe the reason I liked calculus is because I learned it through physics before I learned it through math, so I had all of the real world, like, very clear, concrete idea of what the heck it was doing. As opposed to algebra, where I could never figure out consistently, like, for specific problems and stuff, I could figure out how the curve lined up with the equation, but, like, across the board, I couldn't consistently do it. Also, for the record, I don't recommend learning calculus through physics. Because, well, maybe just not with my physics class. My physics class in high school basically was like, hey, so we know that even if you're working ahead of the normal curriculum, you won't be to calculus by the time you're in this course. So, here's a 2-week synopsis of calculus. Get ready. And then that was that. And it was awful. It was. And then all of our other assignments were literally just straight off the AP test. Like, we didn't learn physics. We learned how to take a physics AP test that I didn't even care about or want to take because I didn't need credit for that in college. Like, I was very disappointed with that class. I actually like physics, but not that class. And then, oh, it was killing me. Apparently, he left the old high school I was at. I didn't know this, but I ran into someone in my neighborhood at, like, a block party or some such. And through a series of turn events, they were talking about how they just had this awful physics teacher and like the types of assignments. And I was like, wait a second, that sounds an awful lot like my old physics teacher. And it's the same guy. I was like, no, he hasn't changed in like 7 years. But it's still everything off the AP exam. Like, absolutely no grade, no. Like, I understand not wanting to curve grades. But not if everyone does badly, because that implies that it's an issue with the content and not the student's grasp of it. And if the only way you teach content is through old test questions, then, like, I don't know. Like, he was a lovely man, but he was not a very good physics teacher. I'd love to see him again and just chat. Like, I'm sure he's a fascinating guy to talk to. But, like, he was not great to have a course with. Oh, jeepers. I mean, depending on the subject, sometimes that stuff holds up, but it sure usually doesn't. And before anyone says history, that one definitely doesn't hold up. Trust me, history textbooks always need updating because history really matters in the context of the current world. And the current world changes a lot. Plus, we learn new stuff and it needs to get updated. Although not syncing updated by weird, like, hyper-partisan political groups. They should have no touch on history. Oh, yeah, syncing. Oh, jeepers. Like, I don't care what your political alignment is. If you're, like, really vehemently political, stay the heck out of, like, curriculi. It's such a mess. Obviously, one party is making much worse of a mess of it right now. I don't see... This isn't one of those both sides things where both sides are burning books. But it's such a mess. But I try not to get to politics on stream. Or anywhere else that isn't a one-on-one discussion. I have found that... oh, don't get me wrong. It's fascinating and super important. But I have found that in online spaces, you don't get to talk about the fascinating and important bits. You get to talk about angry people shouting because you have different definitions of what a word means. And that's less fun and not productive. And, like, Like, I'll happily have a one-on-one chat with stinking anyone. Like, okay, maybe not, like, someone who's... Like, if they're coming in, like, not on TV or something where the point is to, like, make a thing, but just, like, an actual conversation, yeah, absolutely. Love talking about this stuff, and I have strong opinions. I just, don't typically think sharing them on the web is going to get me anywhere. Although I did leave a comment on a political satire video one time, and I didn't realize it had just been posted, and got, like, 200 responses and only 2 death threats, so I consider that a win. And to be fair, one of them was less of a death threat and more of a you should never have been born threat. So, you know, I'll take it. Yeah. Yeah, internet discussions. Fun. Look! Like, obviously not under my Sifamir name either. This was a couple years ago before I knew well enough to leave that stuff alone. But, like, I don't know. Internet discussions are such a mess. Like, all of the time. I had a much more productive time leaving a comment on a video of the only other person I've ever seen who got a crawfish as a pet. That was fun, because I could share stories of pet crawfish with the only other people in the stinking world who would even consider that being a thing. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. Most people don't pet shop at grocery stores. I don't recommend it. Yeah, I wonder what they're up to. Well, that's probably true. Now, I noticed Walmart's fish sections have disappeared, and I'm a little worried about what happened to all the fish. Yeah, I'm not too zoomed in. How is my feather count off? Guess I'm just making the feathers too small still. Okay, well, there's ways to work on that. Yeah. Gonna have to do some cleanup after that, but, you know, at least gets us on the right track a little faster. Yeah, that's probably true. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Okay. I'm not ending stream, but I am gonna take a quick, like, 2-minute stand-up stretch, drink some water pause, just for everyone's sanity. So I will see y'all in a little bit, unless you got other places to be, but it's been fun chatting, and hopefully we'll catch you on the flip side. There we go. Got it right. Third time's the charm. Howdy, y'all. I am back. And let's see. Yeah, saw the Ishtar Gate. Had some fun with that. I gotta take a little Blender pause. I'm not burned out on it, but I need to do, like, research before I can really do new Blender things. Otherwise, I just end up going in circles. So I'm gonna need to do a little more prep before I can do some more proper Blender streams. So, love the Ishtar Gate. It's fun. Okay. I'm gonna pause on the feathers. We've got the alignment on this, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Gotta take care of the wrists. Yeah. Have you got an angled surface for your art? I've found that's definitely actually been helping not just wrist, but like back pain and neck pain and stuff. Take a pause and do some of this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. If your wrist pain's getting real bad, it might be something worth trying. I mean, it won't fix it, but like, it can make it take longer to become an issue. Makes all that a little more bearable. Oh, fair enough. So you're like... So you mean slightly down, then you're drawing almost vertically then? I mean, that should work too. Or do you just, like, flat on the table? Okay, yeah. Well, fair enough then. I'd been doing it flat for a while. That doesn't go so good. Yeah, then I guess you just got to take breaks. I'm, for better or for worse, being somewhat limited to like 2 hours a day has helped me not have too many issues. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, on the wrist thing before the keyboard leaning slightly down. Okay, I mean that's something. Yeah. Yeah, I've got mine. This is the silliest thing. It's technically supposed to be, I guess I'm technically using it in the intended purpose, but it's supposed to be a drawing surface for like sketchbooks and stuff, but I just set my tablet on it instead, and it's at like a 45-degree angle. It's helped. Honestly, I originally got it for drawing with a sketchbook and stuff, and it works for that, but I've had more luck with the tablet than I did with, or using it for the tablet than for the sketchbook. Funny how that works out sometimes. Let's see. Okay, this is more vertical then. Okay, thinking about where these go relative to the helm and all the other pieces, because there's a lot going on in this knotwork. I want to make sure we line it up well on this side too. The rough draft ones aren't quite in the right location. Okay, so this really, like, fills most of this curve here. And it comes out in a nice big circle that doesn't quite there, but it does get down fairly far relative to the wing. Okay. Yeah, now I just have to figure out how to... There we go. Drawing circles. Sometimes more quick lines do better than slow ones. Still bad at doing it, though. Let's see. Kind of two that come into it that interact with the wing here that are important. There's this one that kind of curves over. Oh, it's got to be like that. It's just that's too small. So that, but bigger. Maybe. It leaves a lot of space up there that I'm not lining up right. Interesting. Well, I mean, it's still not exactly. Suppose we could lean into it more on the wing. It does have a little more depth going on than I've been giving it credit for, to be fair. It feels weird drawing from this like I'm trying to draw from a still life, but it is like still a video game asset someone made. Like there's a part of me that still feels like, oh, am I like I'm not just tracing it, which would be fine if I was learning anyway, but like I'm trying to make a finished piece. I don't want to just be duplicating it. But I don't think so. And I'm sure once we get to the shading in the end and everything, it'll end up being its own thing. Interesting. I never noticed it's got like actually layers that sort of fall off. Like lanes on a highway. Okay, we'll have to capture that from this pass too. Let's see. So many different pieces interacting there. I'm just trying to make sure relative positions on everything are good. And then I can start doing the inner workings and some more details. Underneath this one, what do we got? We've got... Well, that loop's simple. We can get that one in there pretty quick. Interesting tangent thing going there. But it does give the helmet some depth. There we go. That arc now has to tie into that. I like puzzling it out. Oh, and then this will sort of arc down and smoothly curve into this. This is all still too high up. Now part of that's I got the tilt of the helmet a little off. Like this should theoretically be in line with the lower part, and it's not quite. Like it technically does, but it's not quite right. We'll just have to work around that right now. Because as much as I'd love to continue tweaking alignment and everything, at some point, if it's all looking reasonably proportional and it's not going to mess up the final piece, I'm going to leave it be as good enough. And the level of detail on this is incredible. Like, I get that this one was shown in, like, the video game trailers and stuff, but, like, what benefit is there to having models that are this high fidelity in the game? Like, someone had to spend a lot of time doing a lot of very intricate work on this. I was blown away by how detailed these are. Okay, yeah, I do want that one there. I could really do every strand on a different layer, and then just sort out which one's on top at the end. But honestly, if this ends up getting too jumbled, I will do that. But right now, I don't think I'm gonna need to. Be an awful lot of additional work. Okay, so this is gonna come out, and it's gonna have an arc sort of like that. Bigger arc coming out like that. But don't tell me that actually becomes the big loop. Oh, okay. Then it feeds into the mega circle. I don't know why this has got me thinking, but I feel like the world of art tutorials has gotten a little bit muddled, at least on YouTube and stuff, because it's reached the phase where everyone has made art tutorials, including folks who maybe don't have a ton of experience, and I realize that I'm certainly one to talk given that I'm doing a streaming channel without a ton of experience, but I don't profess to know everything. But it's gotten to the point where there's the new genre of videos that are corrections to common art tips, where they're like, everyone says to do this, but actually... And it makes them seem very smart and ahead of the curve, and everyone watches them because they know that definitely they'll get the tips and tricks they need to succeed this time. And, like, some of them are good, and some of them are just pretentious nonsense. But I'm just waiting for someone to make the next video in this, like, inevitable line, which is the correcting art tips corrections videos. Where you go back and actually all the actuallys. It's going to be a terrible, terrible video, and I hope no one watches it. But I'm sure it will be made. Oh yeah, I mean, and it kills me because there was one video, and I'm trying to remember, like their advice was good, but they were so insanely condescending about it the whole time. It was one of these correction videos, quote unquote. like correcting other art tips, and they were so condescending through the whole thing that I was like, I know that your advice is correct, but I still don't want to follow it purely because you're the one who delivered it, and like you've done it this way. Why would you do this? Like, ay. Okay, so this ultimately is going to have to curve over. Well, not that far though. Curve in. I'm trying to maintain the. Ah, okay. That explains why the width's not weird. It's another one of those ones where it falls off a little bit. Like, the reason I thought of that is because I'm definitely doing the scratchy, like, going over lines multiple times thing that you definitely shouldn't do. But I'm also in the sketch phase, so sort of finding out the lines, yeah, it's not the best practice for line confidence, but also, like, I will get plenty of work on that when I'm inking this and using a pen that's a little more designed for it. And like and I've got the details figured out already, and then I can focus on line confidence. But for now, I can just hear all the voices in my head saying, "Don't scratch out your lines," and they're not technically wrong, but like, not helpful advice right now. I'm gonna exaggerate this one a little more so it can help cover the top of these fins a little bit, and so it'll pop. Yeah, like that's why I've basically done 2 layers of like rough sketching. I've done the one where I figured out all the proportions like relative to other things, at least to a reasonable degree. And then I'm doing the second series where I'm really working out where all the lines actually need to go. And then it's just going to be a matter of, well, I say just, it's going to matter of we'll do inking, we'll figure out flats and coloring and gradient, not gradients, but like all that jazz. Shading. Oh, it's been a while since I messed with a lot of that stuff. But we'll see. Okay, it's gotten too white. If I'm going to exaggerate, I need to exaggerate both sides out a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Gotta think through my own tweaks. I guess the other thing I ought to start doing on these streams soon, not on the streams, but for it, is like updating my social media presence a bit. I was pretty good about posting on Twitter when I was doing that Sword Timber thing because there was a lot of activity there, and like, I don't know, it made sense, and I had something to post almost every time that was like a finished piece. But I have definitely gotten a little sloppy about it since then. And now, like, I mean, Facebook was always bad. I never wanted a hub there. I only have it so no one else can steal the name. But Twitter has become such a stinking dumpster fire of a website now, too. Like, I don't know. I guess Mastodon, maybe? Like, where should I even post any of this stuff? DeviantArt? They got caught in the AI art mess. Yay. So difficult to figure out all the publicity side of it. Don't want to go to Instagram because that's just Facebook again. Don't want to go to TikTok because of the various spyware worries. I mean, they all have spyware worries, but that one's the worst for it. Like, what? What's that leave? Tumblr? Like, are we going back to 2012? Not that I'm that opposed to it, honestly. Tumblr seems, and this is a truly insane statement, comparatively chill. Yeah, it feels like Tumblr's back in like action again, which is crazy. I don't know if you saw the stinking. It was cracking me up. Twitter started selling the blue check marks, which completely killed the whole authenticity system they've been building for years. And so Tumblr, as a joke, started saying, "Hey, for the same price as Twitter's, we'll give you 2 blue check marks. They don't mean squat, but you can buy them." And you could buy them repeatedly, so you'd see people with like 18 check marks next to their name. And like it would start to scroll their username off the side of the screen. That's been cracking me up. 'Cause I mean, if it's stinking worthless for verification anyway, you might as well sell as many of them as you want, I guess. See, I also don't want a tangent with that, so we'll curve it in more. Cool. Yeah, maybe I should have done all these different weaves on different layers. That might have made this easier in hindsight. Oh well, we'll remember it for the future. There. One. There's. Have to get this one in here at some point, and it weaves over that one. Then it weaves under this third one that doesn't seem to go anywhere else except maybe under here? This is a really detailed pattern for some reason. Oops, nope. Over that one. Okay, how's this looking from scale? Okay, that's actually still kind of working. Gonna have to tilt the angle of the wing a bit. I think that's part of the issue, but that shouldn't affect any of this. I do think this means that I can now go back to the base layer and clean up some of these upper loops. Oops, I somehow caught an actual line doing that. A little carried away. Did it again. I love this vector eraser. Makes things so easy. Zoop. Let's see, and if we don't have those alignment outlines, obviously this looks a little empty, but we're getting there. Still making me want to clean up this piece a little more, but, and obviously the wing, but, you know, we're getting there. I swear, one of these days I'll figure out actual character design and be able to design and, like, come up with original designs on this stuff, but until then, I appreciate having stuff like this to work off of. Oops, that's not on the right layer. Okay. Let's see, am I missing any strands? That's question one. Or anywhere strands should be visible but aren't. That curves in there. This should go over this one. Okay, hold on. That one's bold. This one goes underneath, slightly exaggerated. Could lean into the curvature on this one more. Curve it out more as well. See. Trying to think. I'm sort of like running out of good. I've got good shows to watch, but I've also got a weekly watch night on Fridays with some friends, so I can't watch the good shows. So I'm like running out of like okay shows to watch. I've been digging through Crunchyroll and I've found just some real mediocre nonsense. Like there's one, admittedly I was warned about it, and I mean, it was a little obvious it was going to be terrible. But I'd hoped that it would at least be like interesting terrible and not just like insanely boring terrible. And I have been disappointed in that regard. Because it's basically isekai but with a smartphone has been the most boring thing I've watched. It's so generic. The main protagonist is so simultaneously boring and kind of unlikable. Like, it's melting my brain. He's literally just like vague anime trope man. Like, he has no defining personality characteristics. Like, they took characteristics from other popular main characters and were just like, let's throw these on a wheel of fortune and then see what we end up with. And they got really bland. Like, I tried. I had a string where I'd found some like not particularly well known, or it's hard to judge, but like ones that at least my group hadn't been watching, that were pretty fun. Like Miss Kuroitsu of the Monster Development Department, which is basically just a joke about job life, like desk job life. It's very funny, but it's set as like the office of a villain from like old school Power Rangers type shows. I know there's a proper name for it in Japan, but like I don't know that name. So Power Rangers type shows. And like it's great. it's very fun commentary on just like office life. But like I don't know. I'm making this a tighter arc. Supposed to look like it's like sort of having to be bent over this piece. Which once again, this is a boss in an Elden Ring game. Who's gonna have time to look at this detail when you're dead? Ooh, dropped out. Oh, dropout. I don't know that one. What's that one about? Or like, you know, not to put you on the spot. Oh. Oh, is that... What's the name of it? Is that the one with the game show? Game Changer. Yes. I've seen some clips from that. Oh, man. I think there was a rant by Brendan that is one of... I like to collect really impressive rants about stupid stuff. Like, they're very fun GIFs and videos, and his is one of the best ones I've seen. It's so great. Ah, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to. Because I'm sure the build up to it is just grand. Yeah, this is funny because I've been playing it for so long. I've never really watched or I've never been able to get into any like D&D podcasts or video series or anything. Like I don't know what it is. I love playing it. I love talking about it. I've never had much luck getting into anything like Well, any of them, because I've seen there's so many groups that do campaigns. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do that sometime. Yeah, well, that's just a problem with D&D campaigns in general, isn't it? I swear, by the way, that ours will end at some point. There is an ending. It does exist, I promise. I should just try to make one-shots, because those always end up being like 15 sessions and about the right length for an actual campaign. Like, I should do more of those. Okay. I've heard good things about Dungeons and Daddies. That one sounded fun. I need to check that one out. I need to see some good rogue examples. I've definitely had a mixed bag of experiences. Although Scopic's been good. Scopic has been a fun rogue to work with, I will say. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I say, as everyone says about so many things, but I would actually like to. Aww. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to give that one a watch then. Bump it up the list. Sure, go for it. Spoilers rarely ruin things for me. I mean, I stinking had all of Undertale and all of Dark Souls spoiled before I played either of the. Not that spoiling Dark Souls does much, but like Undertale, people usually complain, and it was like, yeah, no, still quite an enjoyable experience, even knowing what was going on. I mean, heck, as in like middle school, I would read the last like 3 or 4 pages of books, like after I'd finished like chapter 2, just to sort of see where stuff was going, and then I had fun trying to figure out how it was going to get there. Or I put the book down because I realized in one case that it was just like a Misery Fest Garbo book, and I would not have a good time reading it. And I was right. I looked up. I ended up skimming through the rest of it, and I was realized that all of this stuff they're building up that's supposed to be like a cathartic payoff just doesn't. It's just a miserable cliffhanger. And I was like, I'm gonna pass. So like, yeah, no, I love spoilers. That is tragic. That's a rough start. I suppose the premise of this campaign gives everyone pretty good motives right off the bat, don't it? Oh no! Like you say nothing, and then your opener is that. That's grand. Oh no! I mean, it might be useful information, but also it is a very blunt choice of questions. Yeah. No, I assumed from the title that it was most likely pretty lighthearted, which I'll admit is definitely my jam in entertainment. Like, I'm not opposed to a deep story, but like when I'm just trying to rest and blow off steam, I'm not going for like misery, you know? Like, I know a lot of people get catharsis from watching like really tragic shows and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't work for me. Whoops. Yeah, that's fair. Yes, yeah, I heard about that one. Which is a shame because I heard the animation and it was super cool. Uh, it was interesting when that happens. Let's see. Aw. Fair enough. Yeah, I'll have to give it a look. Although, honestly, this is the movie that the example that always just drives people crazy. Because it's supposed to be one of those like happy-go-lucky shows, but I found it too frustratingly tragic to watch. Y'all know the movie It's a Wonderful Life? I don't like that movie. And not it's not that it's boring or a silent film or anything, because it's not a silent film, but it's not that it's dated or anything. Oh, okay, fair enough. It's like a classic Christmas film, and it's supposed to be, I don't know, everyone's thinking loves it. So like I am the only person I know who dislikes this film. But it's definitely one of those ones where it's supposed to set up like a lot of difficult stuff happening, so at the end there's a big payoff when the hero triumphs. But there's so much misery in the lead up that I like the triumph doesn't pay it off for me. I feel more frustrated than happy at the end. And it's silly because it's not like this is some intense action hero movie or anything. But like I don't know, it super doesn't work for me. It is a little dated as far as films go, but it's, nothing crazy. Yeah. Catharsis was never, I don't know, in stories designed for catharsis, they don't usually do it for me. It's funny. Which means that a lot of feel good stories leave me feeling bad. That continue on the back. Yes, it does. Let's see, I'm not going to worry about depth too much on this pass through. It's not that important. Not even particularly visible in the actual other drawing either, so I do just want to get it there. Let's see. Okay, they fairly smooth curve over here. Probably ought to smooth this out a little bit. Oh, looks like we're getting close to time today. Unfortunately, I gotta wrap up at the usual time because got the job in the morning. Although tomorrow looks like it'll be a decent day, hopefully. Yep, gotta get them sleepies. And as much as I'm aggravated by having to sleep, I do genuinely just feel and do better when I actually get enough sleep. Like, it's not even feeling tired. It's just like I feel more excited about life when I have enough sleep. It's very funny. This. I'll have to tweak the knot work a little bit, but that'll be okay. Like, it's not like a magic potion or anything. It's just like, I don't know, after a few days of getting enough sleep, or at least better than I usually do, like, I definitely, like, find myself enjoying things more. And I'm more likely to get into those, like, focus states where I can draw or, like, organize or whatever I need to do. It's, been good. Getting enough sleep has been worth doing. Alas, my parents were, in fact, correct about that. Alright, we'll do a little work on the wings, see if we can't... I don't know what's happening with that line. What layer is that even on? Oh, okay. Apparently that one. Cool. Yep. Because, yeah, I don't know. I remember in college I got, like, full-on proper burnout, like the kind where you just stop feeling emotions at all for, like, days. And, the sleep deprivation, not deprivation, but the lack of sleep didn't help. It definitely wasn't the only cause. The main cause was some particularly nasty history essays. But, like... Definitely, once I was able to get past those and get sleeping normally, it made a difference. So, yeah, I don't know. As much as I don't like sleep, I have to admit it has value. Let's see. This needs to be a fairly slim one. Not as slim as it looks because it's actually got like a little ridge on it. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's a mix of both. Having a job doesn't guarantee a better sleep schedule, just a different one. I have found the hard way. Keepers. I may have to do like a little study just on these stinking feathers. I can't figure out what is going wonky with them. Something definitely is. How are we looking overall? Let's take a step back and see what we're actually... Yeah, okay. Not bad. We're getting there. Obviously, the pauldron's still looking like the best part by far. I had like proper line weight and everything. I must have just been in the zone that day. This will get there. Might help if we pop the underhelm up to full opacity, but I don't know that it'll do that much, truthfully. Okay, yeah, let's do the zoom out. Oh, that actually is a little better, getting details where they ought to be. Yeah. But when they land, they're nice, and when they don't, you just gotta keep going anyway. Because otherwise, you don't, like... I feel like zone days are like syncing like a gacha app setup or something, where you have to deal with like 10 days of bad rewards before you get like the golden one. Or like you get to roll for the golden one, and then you might still just roll 6 zeros or something. Actually, I kind of... Okay, hold on. I'm going to get rid of the underlying outline and see if I can't just get this shape looking the way I want it to, because it's still too fat. And I can't... Like, this point is correct. This point is correct. This one's right. And I'm fairly confident this one is too. So it's some other combination of things in here that isn't aligning right, and I need to figure out what it is. Part of it maybe, am I getting... Like, maybe it's like a little straighter. Like, there is an arc, but maybe a lot less of one on the back. And then if I, just without my other references, go down here and then over, it still feels off, but... Oh, resized it. Actually, this line's also closer to the bottom. So that should be like that then. Should continue all the way through. Kind of folds in somewhere up here. Why am I getting too much space over here? Because this one should also technically be landing there, but that should be the middle? Something is off in the proportions, and I cannot pinpoint what it is. A little more curve, buddy. There we go. That has to land there. That has to land somewhere below, but it should really be landing more. Like that, maybe? Okay, maybe. We'll see how it looks when we put other stuff back. Because that's still... Like, that's not it. There. Okay, now we can get rid of just that one. That looks like a big old wide whale fin, and I don't know why. And it's such a focal part of the piece, I'm gonna have to get it to fix it. Like, that is an important detail. Obviously, next time we'll deal with the wing up there and all that jazz. Maybe actually work on the face too. And then, like, really, for this stage, we're looking at the wing, the face, which weirdly I don't think is going to take terribly long, and the hair, which also I don't think is going to be crazy at this stage. And then we're getting into like actually getting into maybe starting to do some like inking and proper shade figuring out. So yeah, this is, I say coming right along. We're nearly 8 hours into it at this point, but like It still feels like it's moving along at a good pace. Even if it isn't, the fact that it feels like it is helps with motivation. And I don't know, maybe that is a good pace for what I'm trying to do. Again, I haven't done this in ages, so I don't have a lot of context. If I do it like that... I mean, it's definitely better in terms of width than it was. But it's still... The problem is that it shouldn't taper wider. Like, the max width is kind of the same max width throughout it, at least at this part. The fact that it gets wider, rather than just moving more up, is kind of the issue. Hold on. Yeah, I can tell I'm getting a little tired, like my posture and movement's getting bad. It's better. I mean, it feels boring this way, but it's at least less just distractingly off. Maybe you could make it bigger overall, but with some smoother lines it would help. At least it looks somewhat like it should there. I don't know that its positioning is quite right anymore. We'll have to see once we actually draw the face and all that jazz. But I do think that's going to be a question to be continued by future me rather than present me. So future me will get to work on that some more. Me of today is going to have to wrap for the night. It's been fun chatting with you guys. Thanks for sticking around and dropping in. I see that Musico is at least theoretically still here. I see him in chat now, so maybe it has just an hour lag time. No idea. But if you've been listening in, it's been fun. And I wish y'all the best of luck on the Stardew farm. I know it's it can be a doozy, but it's a lot of fun with a big crew. Okay, actually, I do have to ask on the Stardew farm before I log off. Because you've got pro players, did y'all, by any chance, beeline just mass strawberries on the first spring? Because that's what my friends and I ended up doing, is we made as much money as possible that we could manage before the festival, and then we just bought like 90 strawberry seeds and went ham with it. Those things are a blast. Ah, okay, yep. If you get enough people doing parsnips, it's solid too. We went a little nuts with them, truth be told. It was too many. We wouldn't have any energy for the rest of the day after we watered them each morning, even between the three of us. It was it was kind of a pain. I'm not sure I'd recommend it as a strategy, but it did make a lot of money. Okay, I'll head out for real now. Thank y'all. I hope y'all have a good one. And as I still don't actually have anything remotely resembling an outro other than vaguely sounding like I'm trapped in whatever that movie where the guy was trapped in a TV show was. I'm losing my mind. It was not Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Whatever. Hope y'all have a good morning, and then anyone else in chat, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time it happens to be for y'all, hope that it's a good one. And yeah, good luck with the Stardew farms.